Alright, let's get started talking about some percent applications. And some things when we're talking about percent applications, realize that, most of the time out in the real world, we're not given a formula to solve, or we're not given an equation just to solve. So when we're dealing with real world situations, it all comes down to applications. The difficulty in doing math problems from your textbook is that you just have to interpret things before you set them up. So whenever you're solving any kind of application, remember that you're going to need to, any kind of application, remember that you're going to need to read, you're going to need to take notes or organize, then you're going to need to write your equation, before you can go ahead and do something like solve. After that, so read, organize, write your equation, solve. After that, you need to do things like also state your answer. And in this case, also remember your units. And so some questions you're actually asked to give a percentage. Remember your percent sign if your answer is the percent. Where most of our work is actually going to fall is in how we organize. Because we don't mean just write down everything that is on the paper. Most of the time, we're going to have some idea of how things are going to be ordered. When we're dealing with percentages, what we're going to do when we organize, we're going to look for our terms that tell us that we have our amount, our percent, or the base. And that's going to help us really inform what we're doing. The other thing that I like to do when we organize is do things like write down any particular formula that we'll need. Now, since we've been working with percents, I like that percent equation. So that percent times our base is equal to an amount. So, remember that's that percent formula. So let's go ahead and try one of these. Let's say with that, for example, on a 30-question test, a student correctly answered 24 questions. What is their percent score? So, looking at this, specifically, given something that we know that we're looking for a percent. So, it looks like we're going to need that percent formula. That percent is a percent times our base is equal to an amount. And, our percent is our unknown. We don't know what that is. So we're going to look for our base and our amount. Well, our base is usually whatever our total is. What as our sort of starting number? What is our totality? And in this case, it's going to end up being 30, because 30 questions represents the whole test. So, 30 questions. We only answered 24 correctly, so that 24 is going to be equal to that amount. After that, this turns into what I call a plug-and-play question. We're just going to plug in these numbers. We don't have anything to plug in for our percent, but we can go ahead and plug in, say, 30 for our base, and 24 for our amount. Okay. And that looks like something that's fairly easy to solve now. I can go ahead and, in order to isolate this p, I'll just go ahead and divide both sides by 30. I'll end up with p is equal to 24 over 30, which 24 divided by 30 is going to be 0.8. So that means this percentage is 0.8. That's as a decimal, which means that we've got, when we convert this back to a percentage, I'm going to move that decimal place out 2 spaces. That's going to be 80% correct. Just like that. Okay, let's do another example. And like I say, when we're doing this, the main thing that we're going to do in this is just look for those terms, or look for that, for what's telling us what pieces of our formula do we have. So, let's see. How about alrighty. A sulfuric acid solution is in a 50 milliliter bottle. And is marked %. How much? How much pure sulfuric acid do we have? Well, in this case, it looks like we're looking for an amount. We're told what that total volume is, and we're told what that percentage is. So we're, percent, base, and amount. And again, that percent times our base is equal to an amount. It looks like we're looking for 85%. I'm going to go ahead and convert that to a decimal. 0.85. Now, with this, it looks like what's happening here is, if I've got some bottle of acid, whatever this total volume is, this would be the total volume, and then I would have some portion of that which is the pure stuff. And here, this is going to be 85% pure, which means I'm going to have some other filler. It might be water or some other neutral substance. So whatever total we have, well, in this case it's going to be 50 milliliters. And our amount, we're looking for that pure acid. Okay, well, our amount is unknown. So now we can go ahead and plug things in. This is going to be 0.85. That pure is going to be 50. And then here, that's going to be equal to our amount. Well, I don't have to do any division here. This is just straight across multiplication. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and multiply 0.85 times 50. looks like I've got 42 and a half. So I've got 42.5 is equal to that amount. Now, at this point, you're going to discover that now 42.5 is just a number. I have to look to find out what units I'm using here. And since this is going to be a volume, and I'm told what my units are right there, I want to say that this means we've got 42.5 milliliters of sulfuric acid. Okay. Let's do another one. So say that we've got alrighty. Let's say that we've got something like this. If 24% of the students at a school receive a cost of living loan, or receive, actually, how about this? I'll receive housing. And 2,400 students, actually, 2,400 students are currently housed. What are the total number of students at the college? There are students at the school. Well, here we clearly have a percent. That percent, whenever you see that percent symbol or hear the word percent, that's telling us what that is. That's 24%. Well, that's a 0.24. And then we're told how many are getting that. Well, and it says, what is the total number of students at the school? That tells us that we're looking for our base. We don't know what that total base is, but we know the amount. The amount is 2,400. Well, percent times our base is equal to that amount. And once again, we're just going to plug in our numbers into our equation. This is going to be 0.24 times our b is equal to, in this case, 2,400. In order to solve this, we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 0.24. Because remember, our goal is to isolate that variable. We want that variable all by itself on one side, so you have to get rid of what's attached to it. Well, it means b is equal to 2,400 divided by 24. This looks to me like we've got, I want to say, 10,000. So it looks like we've got 10,000 students at the school. Alrighty, hopefully that helps, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll catch you in the next video.